Well, breaking news here at 4. Terror in New Orleans. 10 people are dead and more than 30 others injured after a man intentionally drove his pickup truck into a Bourbon Street crowd gathered to celebrate the new year. The driver was killed in a gunfight with police. We do know he has been identified as 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas. Authorities say that he had an ISIS flag on the back of his truck, and they do not think he acted alone.
We do not believe that Jabbar was solely responsible. We are aggressively running down every lead, including those of his known associates.
And at this hour, Bourbon Street remains largely closed down with hundreds of law enforcement officers on the scene to investigate. And just within the last 2 hours, we have learned that the college football Sugar Bowl in New Orleans has been delayed 24 hours. Thanks for joining us. I'm Priscilla Casper.
And I'm Corey Smith in for Colton Bradford. We have live team coverage for you today, including reaction from right here in Massachusetts.
But first, our NBC's Dan Sheneman is following the very latest developments from Louisiana.
Early morning, Bourbon Street filled with revelers celebrating the new year. When it began,
the guy in the pickup truck just punched the gas and mowed over the barricade.
Once past the barricade, investigators say the driver intentionally plowed through pedestrians.
After hitting the crowd, he exited the vehicle and fired upon local law enforcement. Law enforcement returned fire, and the subject was pronounced deceased at the scene. An ISIS flag was located on the trailer hitch of the vehicle.
Investigators found weapons and explosives in the truck.
Other potential IEDs were also located in the French Quarter. As of now, 2 IEDs have been found and rendered safe.
The FBI has named the suspect.
42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to be rented.
Investigators do not believe he acted alone.
It was chaos and very, very scary.
A frightening and sad start to the new year. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
This afternoon, we're hearing from some of the people who were in New Orleans and saw the attack take place. NBC 10's Malcolm Johnson is in the newsroom with that side of the story. Malcolm.
Good evening, Corey. We know that thousands of people were in attendance when a driver plowed into the crowd on Bourbon Street toward the end of New Year's celebrations. And tonight, we are hearing from those who heard and saw the fatal collision. But we do want to warn you that some of the audio in this interview is graphic.
As New Orleans police investigate a car plowing into a crowd on Bourbon Street New Year's Day, witness Jimmy Cothran says what he saw was horrific.
One man, deceased, had tire tracks across his back. The mother that was in front of us, she was just horribly disfigured. A little girl that we had seen dancing as we were walking up the street was as flat as a pillow. I mean, it just kept going. Like every eye shot, body, 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 body.
The New Orleans native was finishing his night with a friend when noticing something wasn't right.
There was a lot of commotion at the end, so we ducked off into a nightclub. We knew the club we were at. We ran upstairs. We knew they had a balcony.
From the balcony, he looked down, laying eyes on the unimaginable.
They never put the barricades up. This man was able to hit 70 miles an hour for a clean 8 to 10 blocks down Bourbon.
On Facebook, Jimmy saying, please always make sure your people know you love them when you leave the house. You may not get another chance. This, as he reflects on the perpetrator's fatal vehicle attack.
They were on foot chasing him. He was long gone. And the only thing that stopped him is when he wrecked out.
And tonight, Corey, investigators are still working to determine just how fast the driver was going. In the newsroom, I'm Malcolm Johnson, NBC 10 Boston.
Malcolm, thank you. President Biden has weighed in on the attack. He says he's staying in close contact with investigators, but says personally he's angry and frustrated.
I've spoken to every member of the agency, from the CIA to our national security team, to our FBI, NSC. It actually was one of anger and frustration.
President-elect Trump also commented on the attack, calling it, quote, an act of pure evil in a post on social media. He also falsely blamed the attack on immigrants.
Well, this attack is also raising concerns about large public events back here at home. Our NBC 10's Bianca Beltran spoke with a local leader who is in New Orleans right now. She's continuing our team coverage live in Boston. Bianca.
And Priscilla, as you know, here in Boston, the city welcomes people to come together in community and celebrate New Year's Eve right outside of City Hall, out in the open. Thankfully, here in Boston, first night was able to go on without any major safety issues. But this attack in New Orleans is the latest incident, raising concerns about how to keep people safe as they come together for large celebrations in public spaces.
You could look out our window and just see them. We knew that something had happened out there.
Lynn City Councilor Fred Hogan is in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl and said he could see the heavy police response outside of his hotel near Bourbon Street.
They had all the roads blocked off with cones and like that there. So it was the area was very safe. But how the guy got down there, I didn't understand.
Wednesday afternoon, law enforcement officials said they found weapons, potential improvised explosive devices, as well as an ISIS flag in the vehicle driven into a crowd in the early morning hours of New Year's Day. They're investigating possible connections to the suspect's motive. Retired FBI special agent and University of New Haven lecturer Kenneth Gray said the combination of weapons used is a known terrorism tactic.
ISIS, when they, in their online magazine, Rumea, recommended to their followers to carry a weapon with them in the vehicle and to be able to transfer the attack from the use of the vehicle to carrying it out with other weapons.
As the investigation into the deadly attack in New Orleans continues, Mayor Michelle Wu said whenever large crowds gather in Boston, public safety leaders keep these types of risks in mind as they prepare.
Our Boston police and all of the partners they have at various levels of law enforcement work really hard to anticipate and plan. But it's just see the headlines and know that every day we're also quite lucky.
Now, this impact of this attack goes beyond New Year's Eve celebrations. Councilor Hogan said he's in New Orleans supporting a local football player who now plays with the University of Georgia football team, scheduled to play in the Sugar Bowl tonight. As we learned this afternoon from law enforcement officials, that football game has been postponed 24 hours for the benefit of public safety. And these conversations about security are likely to continue as New Orleans prepares to host the Super Bowl. Reporting live in Boston, I'm Bianca Beltran, NBC 10 Boston.
Bianca, thank you. Be sure to stay with NBC 10 Boston on air and online as we continue to cover this breaking story. You can also download our NBC 10 Boston app to get the very latest updates sent right to your phone.